On that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, when you started the band almost 40 years ago, did you think the band would last that long?
Didn't really think in terms of how long things are going to last. Just we'll take it like one weekend at a time. Inventing songs, having practices, having fun with your mates and getting drunk and writing and creating stuff. At no point do you sit down and think, will this last till next year, 5 years? That you literally never wonder that question. It's pretty remarkable we're still going nigh on 40 years later, and you start to wonder, wow, I wonder if I could have done anything else, and you can't imagine anything else you'd rather do, so that settles that worrying question. Yeah, it's quite remarkable, but like I keep telling people, if people stop showing up and stop buying the records, whatever, that would just like flatten it right down. So we've been lucky in the sense that people do keep showing up, and we still like doing it.
Cool. So you got influenced a lot of bands. What band influenced you as a musician?
I'm not actually a musician, but I get your drift. Musically, I'd say, because Bruce invented a lot of the tunes. He was invented by a lot of pre-punk stuff like Frank Zappa, The Mothers of Invention, King Crimson, Black Sabbath, David Bowie to a point. He had some good lyrics as well, and then punk rock came along and it was your Sex Pistols, and the Adverts had some really good lyrics. Then Crass came along and put a lot of political thinking in our heads. That was a very big influence. Fuck's Pink Indians were a big influence. They helped us get out from our local area doing shows outside of our little bubble. Yeah, it was a mixture.
Compare playing shows now to playing shows in the 80s.
Oh wow, that's a long one. In the 80s, there was a lot of tension and potential violence and actual violence at some of the punk shows. Not many of ours, but in some areas of London, you go and there'd be a bunch of skinheads who wanted to just beat up on any punks they saw. There was a lot of tribalism going on. When the Oi thing started happening, there was certain sections of the media wanted to class every band going as either an Oi band or a Crass band, and the two just couldn't meet and have a good time in the middle. You had to be one or the other, and that really kind of messed things up a little bit. Before that, punk was just like one big variety bucket of things going on all at the same time. It was amazing. So there was a lot of like violence going on in the early 80s. That petered out as people got older and younger kids were more concerned with like CND and got more into politics and things. They wised up a lot how stupid being violent is, you know, calm down a bit. These days, well, the same problems that we thought we were the only ones talking about, like how politicians are like corrupt and war is bad for you and all that sort of, you know, stuff. We felt we weren't so wrong in thinking that punk rock was the only scene that was like singing about these things, you know. Everything else just seemed to be pop music. These days, what punks were complaining about on their own, to simplify it a little bit, is on your front page of newspapers, like weekly, daily, whatever. It's just facts. Politicians are liars, because we know that, because like say your president tells like 10 lies a day, or every time he stands up and opens his mouth, it's a more than 50% chance it's going to be bullshit, and just a lie, because nobody knows what's going through his head. He behaves like he's seriously hooked on some serious drugs and can't actually think straight or type straight. Let's not get into him until question 9 or wherever he's going to come up, which might, you know, you never know, folks. Wait, what's this space?
Okay, so you guys tour America a lot. What do you think of, and play a lot of do-it-yourself club in certain neighborhoods back in the day? What are your views on the real America? Like,
we have played a few basements in our time, if you talk about the DIY style of basements and that. Since then, I guess we just get too many people showing up to our shows to actually fit into basements, and so we've sort of gone to this level of, you know, regular clubs. This place has been here for years, you know, for instance. But what was the second bit of that question? What was the second bit of that question?
what are your views on the real America? We're seeing where the other people in America live.
Right.
Like,
there's a strong scene in most towns that involves people like the punks and they deal with the outside world around them. It's either some places are like really quite violent, and there's areas you don't dare walk down after 9 at night or when it gets dark and things like that. And the punks knew their way around and where to go and who was like good and who was bad and who was dangerous and what to avoid. That sort of thing does exist in the UK, but to a much lesser extent. On the other hand, you've got a massive country here, a lot more cities, a lot more people in each of those cities. So you know, the UK is like a very small microcosm of the macrocosm that is the USA. The whole culture here is very geared towards basically Hollywood. It's all very visual. It's especially with the invention of the internet. Believe me, folks, there was a time before all this internet stuff. Now everything is just visual. You have to be seen to feel justified in your existence, meaning something to somebody else, even yourself, generally speaking. So as a result of that, like, people's value systems have like sort of taken a plunge downhill. Everybody's like attention span is shrinking down. There's too much information to take in. Everybody's trying to get as much as they can, and it just shatters your concentration and your focus. A lot of people are just less focused. In the meantime, there's loads more guns going around, people protesting about guns, more school kids getting shot up. We hear about 1% of the amount of schools that are shot up in this country make the news across the planet on the other side of the ocean. We read a few facts by tuning into American channels or whatever on the internet, and you find out there's been like X hundred so far this year school shootings, and this many people have died, and this is like a disease. It's insane, and you've got relatively the same laws as say Canada, where it doesn't happen at all. It's puzzling. I mean, you're asking me trying to sum up the whole American culture in about 5 minutes, but yeah, initial impressions is it's potentially a dangerous place. It's flooded with visual culture, and on the other hand you've got like Yosemite and the Grand Canyon and pretty far out beaches and some really intensely good people who are up in a political struggle. If you're a political struggle type of person, you've got it bad in America. There's a lot to be struggling against. It's on a daily basis. So yeah, all credit to anyone who's fighting the system. There's a lot of the system to be fought in this country.
You got any cool tour stories for the tour?
Cool tour stories. Well, let's think. There was one. Yeah, we were in where was it now? San Luis Obispo after a show there, and we set off from the club and noticed that loads of people on the street were going, yeah, like this. And that's friendly. That doesn't usually happen. You know, everybody's waving us goodbye. It's like whatever. And we're driving to San Francisco. It's like towards the end of the tour. We're sort of going back there to get the plane the next day or whatever. And every now and again, a truck will go past, going and flashing its lights. Well, what? Motherfucker, you know, what's your problem? Keep going, Eventually this cop car comes out, flashing lights, pulls us over. Do you know why we're stopping you? No idea at all. And there's been a guy on the back of the van, stood on the, like, the little plate thing, clutching onto the top of the roof like this, with his fingernails, for the last 4.5 hours. Just, wow.
Yeah.
To get a free lift. He could have asked, you know, he could have sat in the van with us maybe, you know what I mean? But no, he just thought, fuck it, I'll just jump on the back of this van. So yeah, good for fresh air and good for a thrill ride, I guess. And we said, are you going to arrest him? They said, well, we're not really sure what law he's breaking, but we'll take him in for the night. I was like, okay, that was something else.
Yeah. So Citizen Fitch strolled in shows?
Yes, we are. Not over here though, which is a shame really. 2011 was the last time we were over here, and the IRS caught on to the fact we don't live here, and we should be hammered for 1/3 of our income from all the shows. And to counteract that, we would have to go get like work permits every time we came to the States, which cost literally thousands of dollars, hundreds of pounds, and you might fail to get a work permit, and then you've got to get an accountant to sort out the 1/3 of the money that would be taken away from you, so it doesn't get taken away from you. You've got to pay them. All became way too expensive for Citizen Fish. For all our qualities as a fish, we only attract about 1/3 of the people that the Subhumans do. So the Subhumans are in the same position of having to get work permits, but we can afford to do it because
Okay. So are you touring to support a new record?
We're touring because we like touring over here. The fact is, getting the new record out in time for this was the idea, and it happened. So we got half the songs on the new album together in like April and recorded it in May, mixed it in May to get it out for September. After 12 years of not having many new songs, because our drummer lives in Germany, we live in England, it's hard to practice. We have like 1 or 2 sessions where we create stuff a year, which is like not your weekly practice like it used to be. So it's been slow progress. So we had about 7 songs and just like rapidly got 3 or 4 more together to make a record.
Cool. So you got any plans for the future?
Yeah, we're going down to Florida in the next 3 days. Thinking too far ahead of that, it's dangerous. We've got another tour on the West Coast in October, and then we've got a couple of gigs set up for 2020, but we haven't really worked too hard on that yet.
Okay.
It's like look after the next 6 months and.
Okay. Any last words?
Good luck with everything and strength to those who are fighting, because you're going to need it. Cheers.
Cool. Thank